myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose, let me straddle my own saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences. Gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at hobbles and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and happy Tuesday to all of you and yours. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Jamie Allman here, super happy to be with you. Ashton over there. And good afternoon, everyone. It's a 3-martini lunch, or do you want to save them for tonight when it is going to be a you-know-what show? And I don't mean on the side of President Trump. This is going to be, and Jeff was telling me earlier that this is going to be maybe one of the longest ones, and that'll be great because there will be all kinds of really wonderful and also impactful and consequential, I call them sideshows for lack of a better term, because I wouldn't want to call the victims of illegal aliens a sideshow, but you know what I'm talking about. It's going to be a lot of pockets of separate productions that are going to be happening, and honestly, a few surprises here and there. I know some Democrats that are actually going to be there. Some of them are going to be having their little outside rally, their alternative little thing, whatever, their temper tantrum, but who cares? As long as they're not there, it's fine. But there'll be a couple people. I think they are going to be bringing like Epstein victims or something like that. So we'll see how that works out. But for the most part, you're going to have a lot of different dramatic types of events. I think some of it will involve the U.S. hockey team, both the ladies and the guys, and so that'll be great. And it'll be uplifting. And I think that's really what President Trump's going to have to will want to pull off, and not even really address the Democrats. I mean, because really, honestly, they themselves are kind of a sideshow right now. They're inconsequential right now. They're really not in any way, shape, or form having an impact on anybody. We basically just watch Democrats bitch and be racist. That's pretty much all we're watching them do. Complain about everything. The USA hockey team can't even win a gold medal without it becoming controversial for the Democrats and the left and everything else. I mean, have you even paid attention to what's going on Twitter and beyond? I hope not, because, man, it's depressing. These people, now all the women are going crazy because, WNBA is more popular than hockey. It's like there's so much jealousy going on. It's just is crazy. Kash Patel can't have a beer with the U.S. hockey team without it becoming some big-ass event. These are coming from the same people who don't mind it if men who pretend they're women go into locker rooms, but Kash Patel can't go into one. It's nuts to me, but everything is controversial. Now, keep in mind, I have to admit, I was among those people who probably, had to say something about the Super Bowl halftime show or what have you. But, for the most part, we're just chugging along. We're just doing our thing. And the Democrats are just grinding themselves into the ground and living this fantasy that somehow they're going to succeed in the midterms. Where is this love going to come from, people? I mean, honestly, where is it going to come from? These people are mostly just fantasize. They're living in a world created by CNN and CBS. And if that world didn't help them in 2024, and it's not going to help them in 2026. It just isn't. And, a lot of people say, well, Allman, I hope you're not being Pollyannish about this. I hope you're being good about this. I hope you're not, just making wild predictions. I said the same thing in 2024. People were always asking me, are you sure he can pull this off? I go, I'm absolutely sure. Just read the room. Wherever you happen to be, read the room, and you'll find that, with the exception of like places like bitch saloons, like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and other places like that, those are where everybody just goes to crab about stuff, or at least where the left goes, and they're just an isolated bunch. And if you want to take some numbers, I mean, golly, let's go ahead and talk about what's happening with Gavin Newsom and his 2028 ambitions. And you all know the blowback from this whole thing where he talked about, hey, black people, I'm just as dumb as you are. And, it's not working out well for him. Somebody actually asked, I think they were from Real Clear Politics, they actually asked the Gavin Newsom campaign for proof that he's actually an actual medical diagnosis of dyslexia from Gavin Newsom. By the way, this is to the point where somebody can actually, Democrats are so bankrupt that they believe that saying how dumb you are and that you can't read is a brag. Like that's that's nuts. So anyway, on CNN, our buddy Harry Enton is saying Gavin Newsom is basically flailing. This is not going to be happening
This morning,
for
California
him.
Governor Gavin Newsom is pushing back after critics seized on comments he made at an Atlanta event accusing him of racism. Listen to this.
I'm like you. I'm no better.
Harry
than
Enton comes
you.
in here in a few.
I'm a 960 SAT guy.
Newsom calls it all fake outrage. This is, we're getting a sense, President Trump is 1 year in to his final term, but still it's never too early to talk about the next presidential election. With us now is CNN chief data analyst Harry Enton. So we see Governor Newsom. He's got a book, I think, which actually publishes today. He's in the middle of the fray of possible Democratic contenders. So what do the polls say?
Yeah, they're all running, and this is just a downright clown car at this point on the Democratic side. I mean, just take a look here. Top choices for the 2028 Dem-Pres nominee. You have a leader, but it's not really a clear leader. It's within the margin of error. You have Newsom at 19%. Then you have former Vice President Kamala Harris at 18%. Quite a weak number for her, given that, of course, she was the nominee last time around. Pete Buttigieg, who, of course, has run before, 13%. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez at 12%.
And at this point, Pete Buttigieg, to tell you the truth, really looks like Marilyn from the Munsters, given how, she was surrounded by so many freaks and everything else. Buttigieg actually looks pretty straight, if you don't mind me saying, when compared to Newsom and Kamala Harris and AOC and any of these other clowns. Buttigieg looks like the golden boy at that level.
This is just a total clown car. It is a total mess. There is no clear front runner at this particular point on the Democratic side. Who the heck knows who the nominee is going to be in 2 years?
It's been a long time since we've had a Democratic race like this.
Yeah, it has been a long time. This is very unusual for the Democratic side to not have a clear front runner at this point. National early poll leader at least 25%. Look at this. This year, we get the giant question mark. No one. In 2020, when there was no incumbent, it was Joe Biden who was there, Hillary Clinton in both 08 and 16, and Al Gore in both 2000 and 2004. At this point, we're at least at 25% of the early polls. You have to go all the way back from when I wasn't even in elementary school yet, not even in pre-K yet, to 1992. That was the last cycle in which there was no clear front runner at this point. Very unusual.
Yeah, totally. And then when you look at it and you see, what unfortunately the Democrat Party is finding itself in a position where the Republican Party had to force itself into. So Donald Trump came out of basically nowhere. Obviously, he was a known quantity, but in 2015, he came out of nowhere and basically just cleared the field of all of the typical run-of-the-mill Republicans. And I include Rubio there, but Rubio's star has absolutely shined ever since. But the other clowns, President Trump just came and made them all disappear. It looks like the Democrat Party is quite possibly going to have to find somebody like that. And don't be surprised if that somebody is a Michelle Obama type or an Oprah Winfrey type or someone of that ilk. I think Stephen A. Smith has some kind of weird fantasy that maybe he would be the guy, but nobody knows who he is. So, I mean, we know who he is, but most Americans, you say that name, they have no idea who that is. So it looks like the Democrat Party, and again, not that we care, but it looks like the Democrat Party is in a situation where somebody just out of the blue, and maybe it's someone like Pete Buttigieg, I don't know, somebody out of the blue has got to step in, a la Trump did in 2015, and save these people from themselves because they are not doing well in any way, shape, or form. And Gavin Newsom is slowly but surely tanking. He's the guy. He's the star quarterback in high school who you see him 10 years later and he's 350 pounds. You know what I'm saying? That's how rapidly this guy is going downhill. In the meantime, today is people are starting to vote in the primary there in Texas with Jasmine Crockett. The party has a real problem also because the party is slowly being revealed as the no blacks allowed unless you are just simply voting for us. That's kind of where the Democrat Party is at. This is the same party that filibustered for 75 hours against the Civil Rights Voting Act. And come on. And formulated the KKK. Why is this so shocking to people that suddenly the Democrat Party is revealing itself to be pretty racist, to tell you the truth, and not accommodating at all to black people? So, and the voters are similar. This lady is crushed as she is being interviewed after she voted. You know why? She's crushed because she had to vote for the white guy over the black chick.
So yes, we need a fighter. And I was so ready to vote for Jasmine Crockett because I love her. But I voted for Tallarico because we need somebody who can win.
Yeah. See, that's how they really feel. She might as well just said, well, no, because we need somebody who's white. That's really what that code was for. When she said we need somebody who can win, because we might be in a situation where you might think that Jasmine Crockett is crazy, but in the end she is kind of crazy. But there's no indication that she can't win a primary like that. Now she can't, and actually there's not really all that much of an indication that she couldn't win a U.S. Senate seat. I mean, it's obviously rare in Texas and everything else. So, and she was 8 points ahead of Tallarico in the primary before he went on the fundraising binge with Stephen Colbert and CBS, and then MSN Now and all those places who were desperate to really reveal their true colors. But she basically, I'm so sad. I'm so sorry. I had to vote for the white guy in the end when it all came down to it. Yeah. I love it when they get kind of revealed at the end of everything. Later on, and you know, here's the thing that Mark Kasen does. You know, I haven't had him on in a while, but he always acts like he's so busy, and I don't like that about him. And so I'm going to call him on the air and leave him a message and tell him to stop playing games with me because I'm going to give him one more chance. Yesterday, it was like, oh, I was in a meeting. It's like, oh, you know you weren't. You don't have meetings. So I'm going to talk to him for a little bit. And also, you know, President Trump is now saying whole milk in the schools. And guess what the Democrats are saying? That's a racist dog whistle. So we'll get into that a little bit, too. It's Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
This is 101.9 and 94.1.
I have to tell you, if this is how they're going to behave, I'm rethinking my position.
News Talk STL.
License number GL250000615.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Home power used to be simple. Now the car plugs in, the scooter plugs in, the space heater plugs in, and your electric panel starts popping.
That sounds bad, but I like popcorn.
Popcorn is great, sparks are not. Call Grasser. We'll upgrade your panel so you can run it all.
Electric and plumbing, the Grasser way.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
John Bill Roofing reminds you we are in the stormy season, and that means if you have even the smallest leak in your roof, you could soon have a much bigger issue. Call the John Bill to make sure that your biggest investment is protected. That call can save you major dollars. If you do get hit during a storm, John Bill has a rapid response team. Call 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, John Bill.
This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
So do leftists go around asking themselves and friends, what else can I do to embarrass myself, my nation? Two examples. California Governor Newsom talking to a black audience, trying to relate to them. Now, he did not do the Hillary Clinton mimicking a false black accent. Remember that Selma Black church where she said, I don't feel no ways tarred? Newsom went farther off the rail, pandering by saying, I'm just like you. I only got a 960 on my SAT college admission score. I can't even read. That's basically telling them, y'all just like me. You can't read. Now, the other example of someone embarrassing themselves and our nation, the Olympian who won gold. She's born in the USA but has dual citizenship, and she decided to join the Chinese team. She gets all the luxuries of the USA, goes to the Olympics for the Chinese, and she wins. Then she stands on the podium singing the Chinese national anthem, March of the Volunteers, basically, which is a sign of dictatorship. Rethinking it, I don't think leftists ask themselves how they can embarrass themselves or our nation. It just comes natural.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL. Tonight,
America's strong again.
the State of the Union address.
There's a whole lot more jobs available. Very confident in our country's future.
You have never seen anything like it.
Coverage begins tonight at 8 on News Talk STL.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Tuesday to all of you and yours. It's Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Jamie Allman here with you and Ashlyn over there. State of the Union night. So this is a little confusing to me, but let's see what happens. So somebody put on Twitter, I said, by declining the State of the Union visit, the U.S. women's hockey team refused to capitulate and endorse the party line. They exercised their First Amendment right to speak up and speak out against the administration's horrific human rights violations, embarrassing behavior on the world stage, and complete disregard for freedom and democracy. Their polite no thank you says more than any corporation or tech billionaire or media company is willing to say. Amid so much cowardice, if those who stood up, who will be remembered for meeting the moment, it's Jimmy Kimmel's fighting back, it's Perkins Coy fighting back, whoever the hell that is, and now it's the American women's gold medal winning hockey team that decided their own dignity was worth more than a fleeting moment of proximity to power. So we're trying to figure this out because that's from Brian Tyler Cohen, a dude with three names, which makes him more obnoxious than ever. But we're not quite sure where he got any of that. And in fact, it turns out that the reason why the U.S. women's hockey team isn't showing up is pretty actually mundane. The NCAA girls have missed almost a month of school and 8 games with their NCAA teams. And so the break is over. You know, unlike these NHL players, their teams can't send charter planes to get them back by game time. That's from Mark Thiessen, who went out there and said this. And so, you know, it's interesting how the left just kind of took the fact that the U.S. women's hockey team had to decline an invitation, but they're all, you know, college girls, basically. And they've really dumped an entire month of their season and everything else. And, you know, these schools want them back, you know, and it's just a matter of convenience or whatever. So the reason why they're not coming to the game, to the State of the Union as a team is pretty boring and pretty simple. And just a measure of the fact that they're still schoolgirls, essentially, and need to get back to school. There might be a couple of them there. I don't know, but they were invited as a team, and the team had to decline because there wouldn't really be many of them, if any of them, who would be able to go. These guys who are the NHL players, I mean, you basically go to the there's no game tonight in the NHL, but you finally kind of are in a situation where they can charter them back in the morning and they'll be there just, you know, in no time. So that's how it all works. So sorry, left. I mean, you can't really crusade. And that was a lot that guy put in there about why the U.S. hockey team wasn't going. Oh, by the way, just as an update, you guys might know already, the Savannah Guthrie has upped the reward now to $1 million. I'm like, okay, well, it's about time. I mean, my goodness, I was wondering when she was going to do that, because she's got the money. So I don't know when. Hold on a second. I'm gonna get him and find out what he's doing. Can't be anything that important. Gee whiz. Mark Kasen. Haven't talked to him like in 2 months. Was in a meeting. What is a Mark Kasen meet about anyway? We'll see. You know how important he is? He doesn't even have like it doesn't even click over to his message. It just keeps ringing and ringing.
Please leave your message.
I'm going to take the... Hey, what are you doing? Because we talked yesterday, and you said you were in a meeting. I said, well, okay, then you can pop on tomorrow. And now you're just, what are you doing now? You haven't even gotten back to me. I texted you, all this kind of stuff. It's a lot of work for me, for you. I'm just letting you know that. I mean, it's a lot. Like, you're acting like I have to chase you around God's green earth just to have you on my air. And you're lucky I even messaged you yesterday, and now you're just playing hard to get and everything else. And I'm telling you what, I don't chase anyone, and it's one phone call to you, and I'm giving you 20 minutes to get back to me, or your window has closed, okay? Call me back. Normally, I don't talk to people like that on the phone. But for Mark, I always make exceptions. Hey, did you see this? I don't know. You think you have it bad? You think you have a problem? Well, how about these poor people that this NBC affiliate is talking about? Can you imagine the indignity and the suffering that these people went to when they had their megaphones that they were using to scream at ICE agents and to cuss at ICE agents? They had their megaphones pushed away from their mouths by the evil fascist Gestapo.
Seeing across the country, protesters who say it's the ICE agents initiating physical contact. Tara and Denise were at the entrance of a Homeland
They had to bleep her out because her potty mouth was flapping at lightning speed. And they even had, so she's cussing in the faces of the ICE agents with her megaphone.
Security complex last Thursday night in Phoenix, the site of protests in recent weeks.
They were all standing there and we were yelling, and the one smacked the megaphone out of my hand.
Oh, really? Did you just hit me?
Nothing really happened. I was more in shock, and I was like, are you serious? Like, did you really just do that?
Yeah, did you really just scream and cuss in my face, says the ICE agent, with your megaphone? By the way, if I came up to you or any random person and I had a megaphone and I got right in front of your face with the megaphone, what would you do? Right? What would you do? Well, chances are pretty good the person would currently be in surgery having the megaphone removed from their throat. So these chicks are lucky.
So, of course, I kept yelling at him, and he smacked it again. This time, it hit Denise in the side of her face. Right here.
Oh, it hit Denise. Then they switched the megaphone out of my front of my face, and it hit Denise. mid cursing, mid yelling, it hit Denise, and of course, her name is Denise. No offense to you people who are Denises, but for some reason, if I had to come up with a name for Karen 2.0, it would be Denise, even though my favorite person I worked with for a long time was Denise Schaefer. That's a different Denise. That's spelled Denys. The Denise I'm talking about is spelled Denise.
Ow! Are you?
Ow!
I'm calling 911 right now.
Oh, so now she's calling the police. So here she is obstructing law enforcement, which, by the way, that's what ICE is. ICE is law enforcement, and she's disrupting law enforcement. She's getting in the face of a law enforcement agent. Now, let me ask you this. I'll ask you another hypothetical. So what do you think would happen if there were police officers, like let's say they were police officers who were handling a traffic stop or something around you? What would you do? What do you think they would do to you if you came up to them with a megaphone and started screaming at them while they were doing their police work? What do you think would happen? Yeah, exactly. So these people think that ICE is somehow different, and so this Karen and her friend Denise can just simply scream at ICE agents.
Yelling at him. And he smacked it again. This time it hit Denise in the side of her face. Right here.
Hit me, mother. Ow! Are you serious? I'm calling 911 right now.
I'm calling. That's the funniest part of it, too. I'm calling the police. We are the police. It's crazy. Hey, 911. I just was screaming in the face of a law enforcement agent using expletives, and he pushed the megaphone away from my mouth.
Then, a third time, the agent strikes.
Shoot someone in the street,
So
They look lucky they didn't get a pepper ball up their butts. My goodness gracious. I mean, this NBC affiliate is enabling these people to a degree that this is, again, with the news media, it's crazy.
Are you serious? I'm calling 911 right now.
Then, a third time, the agent strikes.
Shoot someone in the street,
So quickly thereafter, he did it again, and it hit her and busted her lip open, and her lip was bleeding.
Another ICE agent appears to pull back his colleague. The women filed a complaint against ICE with the state attorney general and are asking Homeland Security to investigate the agent.
Wow. So let me get this straight. So they are harassing law enforcement officers, screaming at their faces with megaphones, and actually they probably should be arrested for obstruction. But instead, the ICE agents are giving them a pass and just knocking the megaphone out from in front of, Denise's mouth or whatever. And then they proceed then to want to call 911. They want to go to the Homeland Security and the Justice Department for any kind of recourse after they have been obstructing Homeland Security and the Justice Department and ICE agents. Pretty crazy.
Attorney General and are asking Homeland Security to investigate the agent.
They should expect the agency to do an investigation.
Retired police.
Yeah, I'm sure Christy knows. Like, yeah, I'll get right on that. Yeah, Denise, I'll get right on that. Don't you worry about a thing. We've got it all under control.
Police Sergeant Paul Brown has taught courses on police tactics and says the video alone does not show the ICE officer's actions are justified.
If a physical threat is made against an officer or an officer is assaulted in any way, then that officer would be totally justified.
He says if the women were trespassing, an arrest might be warranted. The protesters were standing in a parking lot of the Attorney General's office, which is state property. It connects to federal property where ICE agents come and go. ICE's local office agreed to look at our video. They have not responded to questions about the incident. Brown says ICE not acknowledging that these clashes should be investigated hurts public trust.
I'm very disappointed in what I've seen in ICE.
Yeah. The retired sergeant. Thanks, buddy. But, this is what's crazy is that you have an atmosphere where people believe that ICE is just not even a police agency when the fact of the matter is it is. And you couldn't get away with that kind of harassment of any other type of law enforcement on the planet. You could never get away with it, and ICE should be no exception. And given what has been going on, you saw what happened in New York, by the way, with the New York police officers. People were throwing snowballs at them and everything else. This is unbelievable. Honestly, at some point, even with ICE or with these New York police officers, at some point, you get the impression that maybe you ought to let's let the illegal aliens run rampant on Denise and everybody else, and we'll just go home. We'll go home to our families. We don't need to be yelled at through a megaphone and cussed at and everything else. So anyway, the local ICE office said, yeah, we'll look at the video. That's fine. Denise, we'll call you never. How does that sound? This is Common Sense Radio. It's the 3 Martini Lunch. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
I really like all the things you're saying.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you very, very much.
News Talk STL.
I got to tell you how much I love Newstetter's Fine Jewelry and Richard Newstetter and Diana and the rest of the crew there. It is a lovely place, and we're getting around to the so-called season of love. Yes, indeed. Well, we're getting to engagement season. Lots of people part of the plan to pop the question when springtime comes or whatever. You know, you've got Mother's Day coming. I know that it seems like it's forever away, but you know what? There's a layaway plan at Newstetter's Fine Jewelry, Doherty Ferry, and Big Bend. There's a layaway plan so you can get started on something really super nice for Mother's Day or whatever it happens to be that you are planning for your springtime love festival, and that's at Newstetter's Fine Jewelry. So let's deal with the diamonds. These are lab-grown diamonds, or they're mine diamonds, whichever you prefer. The lab-grown diamonds, as I have stated before, are not fake diamonds. They're absolutely real diamonds, and it's kind of like when you buy your flowers at Deerberg's from the cooler. Those are lab-grown flowers, but they're every bit as beautiful as any flower you're going to see out there as you are gallivanting through a field, so to speak. I'm sure you can't wait to do that when it gets a little warmer. So here's the thing. Right there, Doherty Ferry and Big Bend, go to wowdiamonds.com. You can peruse whatever it is they have there, like, for instance, the beautiful gems. They've got emeralds and wonderful, amazing gemstones there for you. And they also have plenty of gold. And this gold is back in style. It used to be, you know, a lot of women were thinking gold is kind of 80s. And it's not anymore. It's back, ladies and gentlemen. It is back, and they've got all kinds of varieties of gold for you. They also have the Bulova watches. So I have my Frank Sinatra line of the Bulova watch. It's a really a cool thing. Comes in a great little case, everything else. And Diana Newstetter always says, you know, she can make you a king or queen for $250, and these watches are right in that wheelhouse, and so are some of these beautiful gemstones. And don't forget, I have talked to you about this before, the stacker rings. These are wonderful, versatile, playful for any kind of women's wardrobe, and the stacker rings are just that. You stack them up, and you can mix and match them and do whatever it happens to be that you want to do. And that's what those rings are, kind of all the rage these days. And you could collect as many as you want and wear as many as you want on your finger. Sometimes people do 2, 3, 4, and you just mix them up depending on your wardrobe. So really cool. Layaway program. There's a wish list there as well. It's wowdiamonds.com. That's wowdiamonds.com.
I've got Dr. Michael Lewis here, West Point graduate, physician, and retired Army colonel. Is considered the world's leading expert on the use of omega-3s for traumatic brain injury and concussions. Stuart Tomp brings over 30 years of experience in the supplement industry, brought $1 billion of products to the market, and has appeared in over 6,000 media interviews worldwide, and travels internationally and teaches on health.
Stuart Tomk here, and I've come across the biggest breakthrough in personalized nutrition I've seen in 25 years.
Dr. Lewis here. You know, for the first time, we can measure cellular and gut health. So you can start testing and stop guessing and make decisions based on real data. I'm working with world-class scientists and physicians, and what they're doing is changing everything.
You can message me at elizabeth@statmedicalllc.com. That is elizabeth@statmedicalllc.com.
Concerned about the condition of your windows driving up your energy bills? I was too, until I called STL Windows and Doors. Their Provia windows combine old world craftsmanship the professional way, the Provia way, with over 65 years of combined experience, locally owned, offering competitive pricing and personalized service that the big box companies can't match. Call today for your free in-home estimate and start saving tomorrow. 314-277-5952 or stlwindowsanddoors.com.
Colombo and Company.
Trump's State of the Union, 8 p.m. our time. We'll carry it live Tuesday here on News Talk STL. Plus, we'll discuss the latest headlines and preview the speech with Crane Durham and Susie Moore.
Live and local, weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion.
Don't always agree, but in love listening to your radio station. This is tyrannical stuff they're doing.
Elections have consequences. This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Tuesday to all of you. This is Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Let's go right to, well, I think he's in D.C. Stephen Moore. More money here on the wonderful News Talk STL and also Unleash Prosperity Hotline. It is an amazing newsletter, totally free, comes to you every single morning. I got mine this morning. Stephen Moore, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Getting ready for the big speech tonight. I will be there for that, and it'll be interesting to see whether any Democrats show up. I don't know if you've been following it, but a bunch of the Democratic congressmen say they're not to attend. Look, that's their right. They don't have to attend if they don't want to. But it's an important speech for Trump. He's got to talk about all the amazing things he has done for the economy. We just did a report. It's on our website. Just go to unleashprosperity.com, and you can find it about the 7 or 8 amazing things that we've done for the economy, including lower gas prices, higher family incomes. We've seen more money in people's 401k plans. We have seen, when you include the tax cut, about a $6,000 increase in income over the last year for most Americans, adjusted for inflation. So it's a good story. He's got to do a better job of telling that story. But I think maybe the highlight might be, I know that some of the U.S. men's hockey team, Olympic hockey team will be there. That'll be an amazing moment.
Yes, it will. And Stephen Moore, do you have a role in a situation like this? I know you were a campaign advisor of his, but do you have a role in talking to him about some things to say in the State of the Union address?
Well, we did talk. I got together with the president last week, as a matter of fact, and I'd tell you what I said, but I'd have to kill you.
Yeah, right.
No, but we talked about the economy. We talked about a lot of things, and I said, look, you've got a great. I showed him a bunch of charts, as I often do when I go see the president, and he loved them, and I think he's going to talk a lot about those ideas. One kind of interesting thing that happened is that he was asking me about what's going on, some of the things going on in the world. And I just sort of said, Mr. President, if there's any way that you could help liberate Cuba, that would be one of the, Cuba would be within a few years, the Hong Kong of the Western Hemisphere. Would be an incredibly rich place if they had not detoured for 60 years into communism and socialism. And, he liked that idea a lot. I mean, it would be an amazing thing.
Yeah.
And we've got several million Cubans in this country right now who would love to see that happen as well. So, I think it's going to be a speech talking about freedom, talking about free markets, talking about America, which is, the country that's growing the fastest among all the countries in the world today. So he's got a good story to tell, and we will see how it goes tonight. But I think it'll be a maestro performance.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I know that there was that meeting, and I think there was a pollster involved as well. And it was pretty clear that the economy is a super important issue for people.
That's
so
for sure.
Yeah,
that's the understatement of the of the day. I mean, the polls show 80 to 90% of Americans want Trump to talk about the economy and how to make it better. And look, I understand people are frustrated about affordability, especially when it comes to housing and health care and beef. Beef, if you notice, beef prices are very expensive now.
Yeah.
But if you look at overall inflation, that's come down a lot since Biden was president. So it's a story that he's got to really tell. And I think, look, he has to say to the American people, as Bill Clinton did, I feel your pain. I understand a lot of families are struggling, but, and then he has to borrow a line from Ronald Reagan, stay the course, because the course is an upward trajectory. And I'm super bullish about 2026.
Yeah, I am too. And I love your idea. I'm glad you're talking about this with him regarding Cuba, because that really is really kind of a gem that is just sitting there being smothered by the communists, and I think that would be so cool. The other day, I think her name is Camille Cabello. She's a singer or something, and she's from Cuba. Posted something there about it, and there's a lot of people talking about the opportunities that we would have, even economic opportunities with Cuba in terms of trades and companies, and bring back the old time casinos down there, all that stuff.
Yeah, right out of Godfather 2. Right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Well, listen, I mean, every president since John F. Kennedy has been trying to liberate Cuba. It's been a disaster, and just ask the Cuban Americans about what they think about what's going on there. So that would be fantastic. But look, the tax cut has been big. It's the average family is getting about $2,000 more back this year than last year from the IRS because of less money being withheld, and that's a very big deal. I mean, that's for families that are struggling to make ends meet. That's a big deal. They have that kind of tax reduction. He might, I told him you should wag your finger at the Democrats and say, look, how come every single Democrat in Congress voted against the tax cut? Which is amazing. They talk about affordability and then they vote against the tax cut. It makes no sense.
Yeah, no, I'm totally. One more question for you, because I know you're very busy regarding the tariffs. So I've been marveling, because I remember when they were first talking about tariffs and President Trump was first talking about them, all we would see on the TV screen were pictures of avocados and Chuck Schumer saying, oh, your Super Bowl guacamole is going to be twice as expensive, whatever. And I keep on telling the story on the radio every time because I eat a lot of avocados. And I had a situation where I'm buying them for $1 each. Like they're $1,
Well, what happened with the tariffs is, and I'm not a big fan of tariffs. I mean, I don't like taxes, and tariffs are taxes. But, it is true, though, that Trump was able to, really use the threat of tariffs in a very effective way to force other countries to give America a better deal and to level the playing field. We were charging less tariffs on their goods than they were charging on ours, and he's also brought hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars of investment into the United States because of the tariff threat. And so, I when I say to the president, I say, I don't like your tariffs, but I love your trade deals. And now his hands are going to be tied a little bit in terms of being able to negotiate with these countries because he can't use that threat of tariffs. I mean, Trump, I always tell people, if you want to understand Trump, you have to read his book, The Art of the Deal. And that is, he is one of the greatest negotiators I've ever met. So where we go from here on tariffs, I think, is up in the air. I mean, I think that the companies are probably going to get, now that the courts have ruled the tariffs illegal, the money will probably have to be returned to the companies that paid the tariffs, and whether or not that they'll pass some of those savings on to consumers is yet to be seen.
Yeah. All right. Stephen Moore, our very own national treasure, my friend. We'll be looking for your face there in the audience at the State of the Union address tonight. And, of course, we listen every weekend to More Money, which is a great show. It's really fascinating. You do such great work there. I never knew you to be such an accomplished radio host. It's really great.
Well, I learned it from the best, my friend. So
of course. And Unleashed Prosperity Hotline, totally free. You'll get it in your inbox every morning. It's a great briefing for you to start your day. So thank you very much, my friend.
Have a great day.
All right, you too. That is Stephen Moore. So we're really happy to have him on the show. He's a cool dude. He's everywhere. And, his closeness with President Trump is pretty cool. President Trump listens to him quite a bit. Didn't necessarily listen to him a whole lot on the tariff issue, but that's another story. That's a measure of people talk about President Trump all the time as being somehow not he's an egomaniac, he's a this, he's a that. It's always remarkable how clear it is that President Trump listens to a lot of people. He listens to more people than some company CEOs do, and he's running the country, which maybe that fits and everything else, but he is he's really amazing at what he does in terms of amassing a bunch of different opinions, likes other opinions. We all know in the first go-round of his term, I think he trusted and listened maybe a little too much to the wrong people. But now he's listening to the right people. He's got a great cabinet, a great circle of people who are advising him. And so it's impressive on down the line. And Stephen Moore would be one of those individuals who he is listening to. And as it relates to Cuba, I don't know how long I've been talking about Cuba. And I think I was teasing a while back that I wanted to run a casino resort down in Cuba. You know what I'm saying? And that would be a ton of fun. And then there are people going, yeah, well, the Castros are terrible. They're just going to steal the money. It's like, well, not if you kind of, I don't want us to get involved in any kind of, military liberation or anything like that. But there's enough of a desire among the Cuban people to go ahead and make this happen and make the changes necessary. And Cuba's beautiful, man. I mean, I would, if it were open and it were, considered safe or whatever, I'd go to Cuba in a second. That's a new frontier, and it's probably even safer now than Puerto Vallarta. I'll tell you that. So that's how it's going. And by the way, I told you yesterday that things are a little janky down there in Mexico. I'm supposed to be going down there with Lily in 3 weeks, and so far so good. Cabo is cartelless, apparently. So good call on my part, if I do say so myself, because at one point I was thinking, oh, maybe Puerto Vallarta would be fine. And it's like, no, I'm so glad that I didn't make that decision. That is for sure. Hey, this is Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL. The 3 Martini Lunch, Common Sense Radio, and anything else you want it to be. We will be back. This one guy on the floor of this congressman going crazy on the Democrats, right in their faces. You'll love to hear this. And is whole milk racist? We'll talk about that too.
Hey, Columbo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
When I have business clients or guests from out of town, I often take them to Cafe Napoli. I know they're going to enjoy any of the Napoli locations. Cafe Napoli in Clayton, Napoli 2 in Town and Country, Napoli 3 in St. Charles, next to Napoli C, Napoli Kirkwood, or Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta in the Chesterfield Valley. Excellent food and intellectual conversation, if they bring the intellectual conversation. And NapoliSTL.com, NapoliSTL.com.
The Department of Veterans Affairs is so innovative, it not only improves the lives of veterans, it transforms the lives of healthcare professionals who serve them with access to the latest technologies and remarkable benefits. Transform your future at vacareers.va.gov.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli here with our great friend Chris Cooper from Serenity Wealth Management. Hi, Chris.
How are you, Vic?
I don't want to put anybody else down, but that when you go up and visit you at Serenity Wealth, your place looks like home.
So a lot of financial advisory offices, they have, the big mahogany desk or the big marble entryways and things like that. The stock market channel on the TV when you walk in the door, right? That doesn't really drive a good conversation. Good financial guidance and advice starts with a good conversation. People are nervous. People are afraid to talk about finances, right? And so you can see a little standoffish. Well, my objective is to try to have a good, casual conversation. By having those conversations about life, goals, objectives, it's what makes me understand what our financials are supposed to fund.
So if somebody does want to have a good conversation, how do they do that? How do they find you?
Our website is the best way to do that because you can get all the information you need, understand where we are, get a little bit more information, all that. SerenityWealthNow.com.
Reach out to Chris and Stacy today at SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump is expected to tout achievements from his second term's first year when he addresses a joint session of Congress for the State of the Union address tonight.
The results speak for themselves. Why does he have
so much to talk about because inflation's down, wages are up, investment is booming, the GDP is exceeding every expectation.
That's House Speaker Mike Johnson, who says the president and Republicans have achieved measurable success.
We're putting more money back in your pockets. We're restoring peace through strength. We're defending our border and deporting criminal illegal aliens. We're standing up for American industry and manufacturing. And we're making American workers, not foreign countries, the clear winners in this American economy.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the president will make a strong pitch for the GOP to hold its congressional majorities in the upcoming midterm elections.
The president will lay out the case for why he and Republicans are better suited to continue tackling the affordability crisis that was created by the Biden administration and Democrats on Capitol Hill.
And Leavitt also says that Mr. Trump's Tuesday night address will be a celebration of 250 years of America's independence as well. Today's show host Savannah Guthrie says that her family is now offering a $1 million reward for information leading to the recovery of her mother. Here's correspondent Ed Donahue with an update on the case.
There is a new plea from Nancy Guthrie's family more than 3 weeks after she was reported missing from her home in Arizona. In an Instagram post, Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie says the family hopes her mother will be found alive, but they also realize she may already be gone.
We need to know where she is.
Police believe Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped.
Someone out there knows something that can bring her home.
Savannah Guthrie says they are holding out for a miracle. I'm Ed Donahue.
You'll find more on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. A lot of us are thinking about taxes, home projects we've been putting off, ways to get ahead financially in 2026. Now's the perfect time to talk to my friends at Fellowship Home Loans. If you want to lower your mortgage payment, they can help you refinance. If you need access to cash for home improvements or to wipe out high-interest debt, their fixed-rate line of credit is one of the best tools out there. Fast approval, predictable rate, and flexibility to use your home's equity wisely. Remember, many people still qualify to skip their next 2 mortgage payments. Imagine starting big projects or paying down debt with 2 months of breathing room. My family and I have used Fellowship personally. I trust these guys. Take control of 2026. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE. That's 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Well, the temperatures are a little bit warmer today, but with the cloudy skies and the strong winds, it still feels like it's in the 40s, but we'll make it up into the low 50s, maybe even the mid 50s in a few spots. Overnight lows tonight in the 30s and highs tomorrow again in the 50s, but we are looking at less wind, so it'll feel a little bit warmer. And then it looks like a chance of rain overnight, tomorrow night into early on Thursday morning. In the KMOV Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Tim Jones here from my great friends at Comprehensive Chiropractic, the premier chiropractic and sports performance facility in the region. How do I know? Simply put, they've helped me on many occasions. Here's another solution to your everyday aches and pains. The Studio Health and Wellness Center. Services include Pilates and yoga, both with certified instructors. I can also highly recommend the massage therapy, which is not an indulgence. It's a proven method of healing and restoration. Trust my friends at Comprehensive Chiropractic in Eureka. See chiropractic.com. That's chiropractic.com.
Hey, it's Vic and Ken with something important.
Yeah, Missouri's veterans aren't done serving, they're leading.
Join us March 5th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Washington University's historic Holmes Lounge for the next mission, Missouri's Veterans Leading the Way.
Hear from General Frank Grass, former member of the Joint Chiefs, plus veteran leaders from Equifax and Scale AI.
Business leaders, veterans, and community members from across Missouri. This conversation on veteran leadership and mental health matters.
It's free and open to the public, but seating is limited.
Register now at welcomehomeforum.org.
I'm in my late 60s. My husband died a few years ago. He did all of our taxes. I sold a piece of property last year, and I forgot to claim the proceeds of the sale. Next thing I know, I got a letter from the IRS telling me that I owe over $50,000. Now I have a huge tax problem. I don't have that kind of money. I wish I knew who to call.
If you sold property in the last calendar year or didn't claim all of your part-time or even retirement income, you could be in big trouble with the IRS. Call first before they send you a letter. If you've already got a letter, call. We'll help you file years of past tax returns and save you time and money. So call the tax doctor. The call is confidential and free.
800-240-4586. 800-240-4586. 800-240-4586. That's 800-240-4586.
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Download the all-new News Talk STL app
Love the all-new News Talk STL app.
and listen anytime, anywhere.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Common Sense Radio. Happy Tuesday to all of you and yours. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Jamie Allman here and Ashland over there. And, well, Ashley, maybe you've heard of this. I didn't think fast enough to call it up, but I have a CD from a long time ago called the Buena Vista Social Club. Have you ever heard of that? It's Ry Cooder, who is actually one of my favorites. Ry Cooder is one of my dad's favorites, too, because Ry Cooder, aside from being an accomplished musician, also did a lot of movie soundtracks and that kind of thing. But a lot of his prowess was in collaboration. So he would collaborate with all kinds of different musicians. So I have a CD of his with a guy named Ali Faktour, who is an African musician, and Ry Cooder also hooked up with a bunch of Cuban musicians and came out with a really badass CD called the Buena Vista Social Club. It's really good, and I was going to call it up in preparation for just a quick chat with Ashland, who, after we went off the air, she said, I need to show you these pictures from when I went to Cuba. I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't know you could just go to Cuba. So, Ashland, you went there. Those pictures are cool, though. It looks like a really beautiful place. So, why did you go to Cuba?
I was in choir, and it was for educational purposes in 2015, so that's why I got to go.
Yeah. Wow. So that means I didn't know you could sing, so you're going to be singing. What are you going to be singing for us right now?
I was a soprano during the time, and we went for a music festival that they broadcast over there, so it was really cool.
Yeah. Because you were showing me, too, some buildings that still had bullet holes in them, too, right?
Yeah, there was a bus that we experienced that we called the tetanus bus because there was literally holes through the floor, and we had to ride on it.
So you can get, like, rust all over the place. You get tetanus. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a crazy experience. Everything was very just outdated and old school because, they can't really trade with us.
Yeah.
So it was like jumping back in time. It was so cool.
Yeah, because you had pictures of the cars, because that's like one of the things that really identifies Cuba a lot of times. Is they've got like cars from the 50s, right?
Yeah, it was very, very nice.
Wow. And everything is like from the 50s. Like the cars are all from the 50s there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, I think at one point when there are the Cuban flotillas and things like that sometimes I don't know why, maybe this was fake or something, where they had a car was like a boat, like they sailed over on a gutted out Cadillac or something. I don't know, maybe not, but anyway, that's cool. And you also had some rum. Oh wait, you said they gave you rum, but did you drink it?
No,
Oh.
But I mean, we stayed there for quite a while. So eventually, after we would go to choir practice and we'd end the day, we'd buy like a drink for $1.
Oh,
It
wow.
was so cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I bet the things like the little fun stuff like I bet the rum, and I bet their soda is all like cane sugar soda.
It was so good.
Was it really? Yeah. Cane sugar soda is kind of all the rage these days. And actually, you talk about MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. And although sugar is basically evil. Like it's a poison for your body, and probably one of the worst things that people take in. But nonetheless, if you're gonna drink soda, you need to drink the cane sugar soda because it's a huge difference. Like if you drink a cane sugar Coke or a cane sugar orange soda, it is absolutely delicious. So just so you know, now you're making me all thirsty for some Fanta. Yeah. All right. So speaking of Maha, President Trump has automatically, with the stroke of a pen, he overturned the Obama-era ban on whole milk in public school lunches. And whole milk is preferred because, one of the reasons why there's so much in the way of lactose intolerance, all that kind of stuff, is because there is a lot more lactose in skim milk and in like 2% milk or whatever than there is in whole milk. Whole milk is much better for you than any of the other skims or those kinds of things. You just don't have to drink a gallon of it. It's a typical type of thing regarding portions and amounts and all that kind of stuff. So, but Obama and those guys, we don't want our kids having fat. It's like fat is like really super important for kids. It's just that you have to be careful about what kind of fat it is. Fat is one of the primary deliverers of nutrients in your body. It's how things are moved. Fat's a really good thing for you, obviously in moderation, but especially for children, fat is super, super important. And I mean, even to the standpoint, like in my family, I have one of my daughters has an iron deficiency. And iron deficiencies are caused by a variety of different things, but young girls particularly have iron deficiencies on occasion. So I got her some iron supplement, like these chewable iron supplements, and she's like poo-pooing that. I go, well, you have the choice of that, or you just need to eat more steak and eat more vegetables, and eat more fruit. Because you gotta get iron in your system. Anyway, whole milk is definitely great. It was when they banned it, it was just part of the big lie about food and thinking that, well, because whole milk had fat in it, somehow it was bad for us. And Trump's like, come on, stop it. Signing over that's him signing it. It's the sound of him signing it. Yeah. So anyway, now we get to a situation where the Democrats, and this is a Congresswoman Maxine Dexter, she thinks that the campaign to make sure that kids are able to drink whole milk is white supremacy. I'm not kidding you.
For the science-based regimens, not whatever RFK Jr. is getting kickbacks on, or whatever whole milk, white supremacy, dog whistling that's happening right now. I'm getting a little too political, but
So whole milk is, and you can go ahead and call Mark Kasen. He has graced us with his availability. He apparently has a couple of spare moments, and he texted me on one of his two phones. Now, people who have three names are obnoxious, especially men, and people who have two phones are under perpetual suspicion as far as I'm concerned. I know there's probably always a reason why people have two phones. Like it's the same reason why you back into a parking space. I get it, okay? I know that everybody has their thing and everybody has a reason for it, but there's no reason why Mark Kasen should have two phones. I mean, the guy is basically, his job is to brainwash black children in school, and you don't need two phones for that. You only need one phone for that. Why do you have two phones again?
I'm a very important person. What are you talking
Well, clearly you are, because apparently I had to like hunt you down just to get you on the phone to hear you blather left-wing talking points. You're the luckiest man on earth.
Right. Well, I happen to be right now at the Capitol.
Oh.
Not the Washington Capitol, but the Jefferson City Capitol.
Oh.
And so there was a little problem getting signals earlier when you were texting me, but I'm in a good place right now, and I'm not disturbing anybody.
Yeah,
except for you and your audience.
What are you doing at the Capitol? What kind of trickery are you trying to impress upon the lawmakers?
We're planning some kind of an insurrection. No, that's a joke. We brought a bunch of students up here to meet with legislators.
Oh.
And they've been knocking on doors and asking questions, and it's been a great day.
Are they knocking on Republican doors?
You'll love this one. 3 Republican legislators asked a very reasonable, not threatening question. They were extremely mean to the kids and the St. Louis public school adults and threw them out.
What?
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Republicans.
Who? Okay.
Yeah, it did.
They threw them out?
Threw them out of their office. They said, enough of this. We're not answering any more questions. They were asking questions about public schools. That's all. Nothing beyond that. Nobody was like me. There was nobody that confronted them in any way, and they were very rude.
Okay, so who you know the names of them, right? Because if you don't know the names, I'm assuming you're lying.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. I don't know their names because they were Republicans. I don't know them. I mean, I just was standing there.
Well, that's easy.
But I will. But I will tell you that this is 2026. Donald J. Trump. This is what everybody has learned.
Right. Well, so you didn't. They were so rude to your kids and everything else, and threw you out of their offices. But you guys didn't bother to kind of flag their names or remember who they were or anything else.
I'll get you their names.
Okay, you always say that, but I don't need.
I get you everything.
I don't need the names later. I need them now. So
yeah, well, I can't do it this minute, but
okay,
I'll have it by tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay. Was it Nick Schroer?
Stop it! I don't know who it was. I really don't.
What did they look like?
They looked like
every other white person, huh?
Every other mean white Republican. Yeah, they sort of reminded me of Bull Connor. Yeah.
Okay. Dude, you better not be lying, because I want all three.
No, I'm not lying.
Okay. I
never lie to you.
Right, but what kind of correspondent are you to have that happen? And you should be so offended that happened to your kids, and yet you didn't bother to even remember even like first names or any names.
Because I don't start a fight with a bunch of crazy Republicans. I just left them alone and walked away.
All right.
It was sad.
Okay. Hey, I remember a long time ago you had but first of all, I am officially marking down what you just told me as a lie until further notice.
Okay, that'll be fine.
Okay, so it's going to be I'm marking it right here. I'm writing it down, lie, and then I will be more than happy to cross that out with the names once I get them. But right now, it's officially registered on the Allman Report as a lie.
Yeah. Sort of like when I brought all the police into the studio, who you said were not pulled out of cars, and all the black police that were pulled out of cars came into the studio and told you face to face, and that was a lie back then. But this will be a lie until I prove it, which I will.
And I was, but keep in mind, I was good enough to have them on the air. Those guys on the air
You were.
to correct me. So
you were,
and I am going to conduct a full investigation of this. And once you give me the names, I'm going to call the Republicans and get their side of the story, and then we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely.
All right. So I know that a long time ago, and I applauded you for this at first when you had brought up Ocasio-Cortez. I mean, you were the first. I mean, this was literally like in 2019. It was like, whatever 26 minus 19 is years ago. So you brought her up, and I was like, oh, wow, really? Yeah, she's the next best big thing and whatever. And lo and behold, her status elevated ever since she started talking about that. And I know you to be also an investor, so you seem to pick stocks and to some degree politicians very well. But that whole situation of late in Munich and everything else, and then she did this video where she was falling apart on the video, and actually I thought it was a dog growling, but it turned out it was her fiance snoring in the background, and it's been an embarrassment for her. Have you seen any of this?
I haven't seen it. I've heard the story, and I assumed from the moment I heard it that some of it was fake, because that's how they do today. But listen, it's not even the point. She is a political star. Everybody knows it. She was from the beginning. She was mentored, of course, by the great Senator Kennedy, and she's just on her way to a fabulous career that is going to just get better and better. And we'll see if I'm right, but I'm sure I am.
Right. What did you hear that you thought was fake?
That she got lost in her words and she didn't know what she was doing. And
well, did you see the video?
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, she thought Venezuela was below the equator. She wasn't able to finesse an answer on the Taiwan-China thing. I mean, it was on down the line. She really did. She was quite embarrassing. I felt bad for her, really, honestly.
Well, whatever you say about it, let me remind you of this. She graduated from Boston University with top honors. I love how people say, oh, she was a bartender. Well, yeah, when she was in college, she tended bar while she was getting top honors at Boston University. She was a top intern working and learning with Senator Ted Kennedy. Her speeches are considered to be just absolutely phenomenal. And I can assure you of one thing. She's not somebody like Donald Trump, who whenever the doctors look at him, they say, I think that guy had a stroke.
Whatever. Hey, here's the thing. And I don't, listen, I have bartended before, and I really don't have any, I don't think of being a bartender is a bad thing when you were doing, if you're doing even something else alongside of it, which apparently AOC was doing. But she didn't seem equipped at all. I mean, she tried to burn Marco Rubio on the horses coming from Spain, and she didn't know any of that. So I'm just saying she's got to be careful. So anyway, we saw Harry Enton on CNN lay out the groundwork for potential Democrat presidential nominees in 2028, and Newsom is in the lead, but not by much. And of course, Newsom and his racist comment from the other day, which I'm intending to ask you about. It's amazing. Let me guess. You didn't hear about it, or you heard something about it but didn't see the video, that kind of thing, right?
Well, I wish I had seen it now that you bring it up.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this. There is nothing, and I mean zero, that is worse in America today than the President of the United States depicting Michelle and Barack Obama as monkeys. And I want to tell you something. He has now made it clear that nobody is responsible for anything on his feed except for him, that it came directly from him. And if he says he made a mistake, come on. It took him 12 hours to take it down.
Right. It was, first of all, he didn't depict Michelle and Barack Obama as monkeys. It was a video that was on the tail end of another video that was actually screenshotted off a phone. You know how I learned about all this? From a black guy who explained exactly how it happened.
Yeah.
And
I was just going to say, there isn't a black man in America that believes what you're talking about.
oh yeah,
Not
there
one.
is. Yes, there is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can all you have to do.
You think you found one?
Well, since you don't, since for some reason,
how much do they pay him?
For some reason, miraculously, you never see anything that I'm referring to. It's just amazing to me. And I knew. How did I know ahead of time that you have not seen the Gavin Newsom tape yet, even though 99.9% of America has seen the videotape, but you haven't, apparently, because you've just been too busy.
The man's a progressive. What are you talking about? There is nothing that he said that was racist, and you know it.
Well, blacks don't like him. They can smell a typical white liberal a mile away. They can tell somebody who's never actually even been with black people for any length of time a mile away. And I mean, to your credit, you're at least not, obviously, I don't think you have really true respect for black people, but at least you hang with them. So, because we call you the black person whisperer, right? Because that's all you do. You don't even hang around with white people. You're that guy,
Yeah, I don't particularly like the history of white people in America. You're right about that.
You mean Democrats?
I do have. No, stop it.
Yeah, no. You do know when you say
Don't
the
do
history of white people. You mean Democrats, because white people, Democrats were the ones who presided over slavery. They were the ones who spent 75 hours filibustering the Civil Rights Voting Act. They formed the KKK. So your issue with white people needs to be narrowed down to white Democrats.
Well, first of all, in the 1860s, you know that Republicans were the ones who supported black rights. So things have changed throughout history. And listen, I don't even get into this Republican-Democrat thing that much, although I could, because I could talk about Theodore Roosevelt as well. But I'm just going to say this. White people generally are bad. Republican or Democrat, it doesn't matter. They're no good.
Well, I mean, I would
historically.
White people who think that low SAT scores and an inability to read is a brag, that's a problem. And that's what Gavin Newsom was all about there on that level. So anyway, the Harry Enton listed these guys, and it turns out that, to tell you the truth, it looks like Mayor Pete, of all people, looks more like Marilyn in the Munster family than I even expected him to do. So you've got Mayor Pete, Kamala, AOC, and Gavin Newsom. Mayor Pete looks like Ronald Reagan compared to these people.
Now, do you understand? You got 9 months to talk like this, and after that, you're going to be destroyed in an election that is going to blow you away, even with Donald Trump attempting to bring ICE agents to the polls in order to arrest people who vote for Democrats. But despite all of that, it won't even be close.
Yeah.
So you got 9 months. It's like I always say in training. You can always say you're the best team in the major leagues until the baseball games start. And in November, good luck.
Where did the ICE agent at the polling places lie come from? Where did that originate? That's like the hands up, don't shoot thing.
Everybody knows that's the plan.
No, that's not the plan. You guys constantly.
Trump has already said that he's going to have ICE agents at the polls. Now, you have to decide why they're there. Oh, to serve lemonade? I don't think so.
Yeah. You mean like when Obama had the Black Panthers at the polling places?
Well, I wish he would.
He did.
Black Panthers are good people.
Yeah. He
Black
did.
Panthers actually do bring food and all kinds of great things to young people. They were wonderful.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing wrong with Black Panthers.
Oh,
the history of the Black Panther Party is phenomenal.
Yeah, but still, you're talking about them at the polls like swinging bats and stuff. That's not being good, okay? And they were doing that.
That's ICE.
No, ICE isn't doing that. No, I'm saying the Black Panther. Now, what about? Do you know?
It will be.
Well, since you're an expert in this kind of stuff, what's the difference between the Black Panthers and the new Black Panthers?
Oh, it's tremendous difference. There's no question about it. The new Black Panthers are far more radical, but not without reason, Jamie. Honestly, they look at what white people have done in this country and they're tired of it, and I don't blame them. So that's the difference. But the original Black Panther Party was all about school lunches and taking care of kids in the neighborhood and and making sure. Yeah, go ahead.
That's not the way That's not the way I remember
wanted
it.
To kill them.
That's not the way I
wanted to kill them. Yeah.
Well, the FBI. I listen. Everything about the FBI, even back then, was confirmed by everything that dropped with James Comey and beyond. It's amazing how people hate it when an FBI director drinks beer with a gold medal winning U.S. hockey team, but are okay when a FBI director spies on a president. It's crazy.
Yeah. Listen, when Donald Trump disappears, which won't be much longer, let me assure you that people like Kash Patel and the former Attorney General of Missouri, Bailey, I mean, all these people working for him, that first of all, they all lose their law licenses. None of them will ever have a future in any kind of politics ever again. And in fact, they'll be lucky to get a job at McDonald's.
Well, you've got a problem on your hands because Donald Trump is actually just basically like a Russian nesting egg. You take Donald Trump out, and then you've got J.D. Vance. You take J.D. Vance out, then you got Marco Rubio. Take Marco Rubio out, then you have Scott Bessent, and I mean on and on and on. So
Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance, people who have described Donald Trump as the American Hitler and a maniac and a psychopath. But I mean, it's all on tape, Jamie. Come on, go listen. You know it's there.
No, I'm like you. I didn't see that tape.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Very good. Hold on, let me mark this down as a lie. Go ahead.
Okay, and so in the meantime, I'm going to let you go, but what I want to do is I want the name. How are you going to get the names of the three lawmakers, Republicans, who kicked the black children out of their offices?
Because I've got the teacher who was leading the discussion in the office as I was approaching, and she knows exactly who those people are. I'll get it.
So you didn't actually witness them kicking out the kids.
No,
You just
I witnessed the end of it.
Okay.
I witnessed them being pushed out.
You witnessed them every.
I mean, they weren't physically pushed out. They were just dismissed. Very rudely.
Okay, 3 times, but each time you were coming in on the end of it.
I was on the end of it.
3 times?
What are you talking about?
Well, what I'm saying is, were you ever there from the beginning to the end, or did the 3 times they were kicked out, were you always kind of just like walking up whatever you're doing? Like, what else are you doing there?
It was one office and 3 people.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I know what we're talking about because there are 3 offices sometimes in one little place there.
Correct.
And were all 3 Republicans there in the office?
You're funny. Just because you're an investigative reporter doesn't mean that you can bully me into giving you an answer here.
Okay,
I'm just telling you. I'm going to get you all the information that I can get, and I'll explain where it comes from so that you'll be able to verify everything as the Emmy Award-winning reporter that I know you are.
Okay, well, I'm just asking because this is narrow. I'm just starting to hone in on something that might be important. You said 3 Republican lawmakers kicked them out, but you can't confirm that 3 Republican lawmakers are actually in the office. So if there's one of them, you just decided that would be 3 because you can't confirm there were 3 Republicans in there.
I'll give you all the details, and you'll be able to decide what you think. And if you want to mark it on the lie side, I'll still love you, and that'll be fine.
Okay. Well, you're slowly but surely backing away from your knowledge.
I'm not backing away. Listen, the one thing I know for a fact is that tonight we'll be listening to an address by Adolf Hitler. That I know.
Oh, where are you going to rent that movie to show the kids?
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, Mark,
Okay.
thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon. Safe travels back.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You see how that slowly deteriorated, that whole story slowly but surely was falling apart right in front of our eyes. Just ask a couple pointed questions, and I'm bullying him. All right, this is Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to make sure you know that Santino's Cigars and Cocktails, I mean, just a fabulous place. And Mike Marino is a great host. He's like an old school host. And he's been in this business for a long, long time. He had another cigar and whiskey bar in South County, but decided I'm going to expand. I'm going to be the biggest. I'm going to be the best. And here it is right there off of Highway 55 at the Imperial exit. You can check it out at SantinoCigarCocktails.com. When I first heard about the humidor, I was like, oh yeah, it's a big hundreds of brands of cigars, pipes, tobacco, pipe tobacco accessories, all that kind of thing. He said, oh yeah, it's big. I go down there, I'm like, oh my Lord, this is big. This is like a whole separate restaurant. It's like I could live in this place, It's like a 3-bedroom apartment or whatever it happens to be. It's really gigantic. They have cigars that are 7 to 9 years old. There's a smoke filtration system at Santino's that is just like the ones they do at the casino. So, a lot of people do smoke cigars and pipes and stuff like that, but you just don't want to be walking around in a shroud of smoke. I get it. And so the filtration system is that great. They can cater food for you, party or event or whatever. And then they have an event space downstairs, which is really cool because they've got poker tables and roulette tables and all kinds of stuff, a bar down there and music and everything else. So it'd be a great place for you to have your retirement party or to have just an anniversary party or just a party if you just want to do that. It's right there in the beautiful basement, technically, the lower floor of Santino's. They also have a separate wine room and a bar that's non-smoking, so you can sit in there and enjoy a great selection of liquor or wine, and you can also avoid the smoke if that's what you want to do. Multiple TVs, so you never miss any kind of big game or whatever happens to be the deal. 2 fireplaces, one in the main lounge and one in the wine room. So it's really cozy, super great. And here's one of my other favorite parts of this. First of all, the mixologists there are great. They make the most of a Manhattan for you. They've got like 70 different whiskeys and great lines of tequila and beer and anything that you happen to need. And, of course, wine. They also serve authentic Sicilian cuisine Tuesday through Saturday. So starting today, lunch and dinner. Food prepared by hand, and all the sauces are made from scratch. I had the pleasure of having one of their pizzas, and it has that Sicilian sauce. And I'm not an expert on Sicilian cuisine, but I will tell you the sauce is sweet and hot and spicy at the same time. It's like it's incredible. So check it out right there at SantinoCigarCocktails.com. SantinoCigarCocktails.com. It's right off at 55 at the Imperial exit.
Springtime in St. Louis, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
Don't paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Whether at home or at work, you're mobile. So when you're mobile, stay mobile. Keep St. Louis's home for conservative talk with you wherever you go. Download the News Talk STL app in the App Store or at newstalkstl.com.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Jamie Allman here in Ashland there. And, it's interesting what happens when you start to ask pointed questions of liberals. They hate it when you start, asking questions. Mark got all weirded out when I was trying to find out what was going on with his mass kicking out of black kids from Republican offices story. So now this Gavin Newsom thing is getting kind of crazy because since Gavin Newsom is claiming that because he made his racist statement because he's dyslexic, which doesn't make any sense at all and is a complete and total lie. And so this woman from Real Clear Politics decided she was going to basically ask a pretty pointed question about, hey, what's the situation regarding his dyslexia? Do you have any records to show us about Gavin Newsom's dyslexia? Because he keeps on saying he's dyslexic. And then you keep saying that all the time, and now he's using it as an excuse for a comment that is clearly a racist comment. So now it's one thing just to kind of sit there and go, I'm dyslexic, look at me, I'm dyslexic. And then say something really horrific and then say it's because you're dyslexic. At this point now it's like, okay, so let's dig into that a little bit and find out about dyslexia. So anyway, Susan Crabtree is the reporter for Real Clear Politics. And this is what she sent to the Gavin Newsom comms team, the team that is doing his communications. Hi there. I know any type of learning disability is very sensitive, but I also see that Governor Newsom and his press team have been using the diagnosis to hit back at Sean Hannity and other critics in the wake of Newsom's comments over the weekend that he had a 960, so I'm like you, which he said to a black audience. Governor Newsom has claimed that he found the paperwork from his childhood about his dyslexia after his father died in 2018. If that's the case, does he have it so he can demonstrate that he was, in 2018, at that point, dyslexic? That's the case. Does he have it so he can demonstrate that he was given a dyslexia diagnosis early on in his childhood? Newsom also has said he was diagnosed with dyslexia in 1972. That would be when he was 5 or 6. Is there anything the governor can point to as proof of this? If the early paperwork is not available, is there any evidence or a more recent dyslexia diagnosis he can provide? I have a deadline of tomorrow, Tuesday at 5 p.m., but any information you provide, I can distribute it immediately on X to combat critics who are doubting the diagnosis. So then what happened? Well, she got a email back from the comms team, and this is what it said. Hey, Susan, thanks for reaching out. Respectfully, F off. Izzy. That was the response to her rather extended question. And, again, it's hard to kind of pry into this. You don't really want to. There are a lot of people who are dyslexic, and of course, we have empathy for them. And I know it's obviously difficult, but if you're using dyslexia as an excuse to be a jerk and a racist, then the dyslexia diagnosis becomes kind of important. But the comms team continued to go crazy over this whole thing. They said, I was asked the New York Post for a correction. I was very generous to the MAGA blogger and told her to respectfully F off in her request to inspect the governor's childhood medical records. That's not a meltdown. That's good customer service. Now, this guy is basically a state employee, and apparently now at this point, if there's anybody else, we'll see any other reporters or what have you who are deciding to kind of piggyback on this, because right now it's just one person from Real Clear Politics, and it's just one individual from Real Clear Politics, and she's being marginalized for asking about Gavin Newsom's records. But if I'm Gavin Newsom, why aren't you supplying them? Or maybe even getting a new diagnosis. Now, keep in mind, these are the same people, even Gavin Newsom for that matter, who have continued to talk about wanting to know everything medical about Donald Trump, everything about him, everything about his health and everything else. And Trump isn't even using aspects of his health in any way, shape, or form to excuse anything he's doing. And it's interesting now, they won't even supply anything of the sort. So we'll see how this whole thing goes. It's interesting, though, how none of the other news outlets can be bothered in any way, shape, or form to follow up and ask the similar question. It's only one person in the news media asking the question. Pretty crazy. William Harrison, Bill says, I'm not a doctor, but dyslexia just means you read differently, right? Hey, it's Common Sense Radio. Happy Tuesday to all of you and yours. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
Hi, I'm Rodney Wallner.
And I'm Jen Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Jen, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission plan?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What's the best time to sell your home?
Right now, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
Producer Joey V from the Tim Jones and Chris Arp Show here, reminding you, don't waste a buck on movies that suck. Tune in to Joey V's Movies Fridays at 5:45 for reviews you can trust. Brought to you by Harry J. Steakhouse in Moscow Mills.
Dreaming about a vacation but not sure where to start? Should you book that all-inclusive resort or a cruise? Which destination? What cruise line? And how do you know you're getting the best value? That's where Magic Expeditions comes in. We're your St. Louis local travel experts, helping you choose the vacation that fits. Whether a relaxing, adults-only escape, family-friendly resort, or unforgettable cruise adventure, skip the stress, the guessing, and endless online searching. Visit magicexpeditions.com. That's magicexpeditions.com.
Colombo and Company.
Trump's State of the Union, 8 p.m. our time. We'll carry it live Tuesday here on News Talk STL. Plus, we'll discuss the latest headlines and preview the speech with Crane Durham and Susie Moore.
Live and local, weekdays at 2
on News Talk STL.
Yeah, lots of people who know, including Ashley, know a little bit more about dyslexia than I do. So Bill says, I'm not a doctor, but I think dyslexic just means that you read differently. And Phil says dyslexia does not affect your actual intelligence, reasoning, or the content meaning of what you intend to communicate. Right? Does that sound right to you guys? Okay. So it's kind of like, and I don't know about this, but because I don't really know about, I don't know whether Gavin Newsom's just kind of using dyslexia as a noun, or an adjective or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, I'm dyslexic. Kind of like when people say, oh, that's my ADHD kicking in or ADD kicking in, whatever. I can't stand it when adults do that, but because you're not ADHD as an adult. You're just whacked and you can't keep it together and you don't have a calendar. That's it. It's like me. It's like I'm as ate up as it gets and disorganized and everything else, and I still don't call myself ADHD. I was probably hyperactive as a kid, that kind of thing. Remember back in the day when I went to public school, and it was grade school, it was middle school, and they had a thing called, it was Brittany Middle School, and they had a thing called Team Zero. And you'd think like Team Zero would be like a bad thing, but apparently I was on Team Zero because there were these people who were perceived as being gifted, otherwise known as white. So, because I'm not kidding you, there were no black people on Team Zero. So I spent like a year of school, like sixth grade or whatever, never having a class with a black person when it was 80% black. Isn't that crazy? I don't know what they were up to back in those days, but I felt like it was like I didn't feel at the time, but in hindsight, I feel like it was a purposeful separation or something. I don't know. I have no idea, but it didn't seem right. I'll tell you that. Even at the time, I was kind of like, huh. It's like this school is like mostly black, and I don't have one class with a black person. It was kind of crazy. Anyway, so they put us into this Team Zero thing, and that's where you just kind of worked at your own pace. Complete it whenever you want to. It's fine. It's all good. As long as you get it done, by this certain time, but you can just do it at your own pace. So we never had any structure or anything else. And that was like the worst possible thing for me because I'm thinking, well, then I don't have to do it until the last minute. I'll just draw for a little while here and do whatever I need to do, And so I easily failed in that Team Zero thing. And eventually they did. Eventually I went to a different school, but that was kind of weird. So, and I was probably hyperactive or whatever, and so that was the worst possible thing. But I think and it's going to be even worse if they find out that Gavin Newsom is just like making this up. Oh, I'm dyslexic. Like just throwing it around as an excuse for everything, because that'll be really bad. It'll be just another example of his disingenuity. All right, so Jack Hughes. The leftist mob is already trying to make him feel embarrassed about going to the State of the Union address and being all happy about the USA and the country and everything else. And he's basically doubling down. He's really excited.
Are you guys excited to be going to the White House and meeting Trump?
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, anytime, like, everything is so political. We're athletes. We're so proud to represent the U.S. And when you get the chance to go to the White House, meet the president, we're proud to be Americans, and that's so patriotic. So
yeah, well, why? And that's the thing, and it's kind of depressing. Is how is even just a hockey game and a gold medal event and a great moment? How is that even remotely controversial? And the left is going nuts at it. Yesterday, yeah, I poked fun out because I wanted to be petty about Canada and gratuitously mean about Canada, and I was. But otherwise, really the politics of this shouldn't even be there, but it is. I mean, it's like, wow. Like the left can't enjoy anything.
No matter what your views are, we're super excited to go. to the White House tomorrow and just be a part of that.
How do you feel about the women not going?
They got busy schedules too. I mean,
Okay, and that's, she said, how do you feel about the women not going? It's like the women are not going because they're college girls. And they've missed a month of school already and a month of games. Like they've missed a big part of their hockey season already being in the Olympics. And the schools want their asses back. That's what they want because they have scholarships and everything else because they're going. So the school basically is footing the bill for their educations and they want them back to play and go into school. Now, does that mean that, well, couldn't they just go for that evening and come back? Well, in order to do that, the girls don't have private planes like an NHL hockey team does to fly these people back the next morning or even that night so they could play. These are college girls, and that's why they're not going. There's not one comment at all about not liking President Trump or anything of the sort.
I know we're getting everyone's giving us backlash for all the social media stuff today, but it's so negative. People are so negative out there, and they're trying to find a reason to just put people down and make something out of almost nothing. But our relationship with them over the course of being in the Olympic Village, I think we were so tight with their group and our group after we won the gold medal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and there's so much backlash on social media. This poor guy, you win a gold medal, and you've got to sit there and explain yourself to all the rats on social media. It's just, it's beyond crazy. And I'm just so glad that Jack is really doing well and standing up. By the way, we have some controversy now because, and even this is becoming political, like there are, I see a headline, it's like liberals demand Trump rescue them from Mexico as violence escalates. Well, I don't care whether you're liberal or conservative, and I think President Trump is going to do this, make every effort to get the Americans who are in danger in Mexico safely out of there. And I don't care how you vote. I want you to be safe and back home safely and not in danger in Mexico. So not everything has to be about politics. You guys have a great rest of your day. Ashlyn, thank you so much. Coming up next, Colombo and Company, Tony Colombo on News Talk STL. Have a blessed rest of your day.
Hanson's Tree Service at hansonstree.com is your one-stop shop for expert-insured tree care and more in the greater St. Louis region and at the Lake of the Ozarks. Visit hansonstree.com for 24/7 emergency tree care, grinding and land clearing, awesome organic mulch, green resource recycling, and more. Tim Jones here to tell you that whether you're dealing with old man winter at your home or business in the St. Louis region or preparing